Huh?
We're over here tapping in with KWJT, Puget Sound from space. I'm over here with Corey.
here.
You're tapping in with Tavares and sliding with Solana. And Rolando, remind me to change that in the future, brother. Oh my goodness, KWJT. We're back at it again here with another podski for you guys. You know I like to start the show off with a whole lot of things, so let me just get those off real quick. For our past groovers who's been tapping in week in, week out, we truly appreciate you guys. We've been going crazy, brazy, AZ 2023, and we could not do this without you guys. If you are joining us today, you're a new groover. We would if you would be ever so kindly, we would love if you hit that subscribe button, please. Join the Groovy family. We would love new members. And then 3, we are on all audio streaming platforms, so check us out if you want to listen. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, audiobooks. Audiobooks, you know we on you. We're trying to get it. And I got my brother Corey to the right of me.
Hello.
I am Tavares. And without a further ado, let me introduce this week's guest. We got live music up in the motherfucking building, so please. Good round of applause. We got a round of applause going. The T is silent.
Yes.
The T is silent. So for you guys that don't know, it's LIVt music, but the T is silent.
Come on.
Just live is
Yeah.
Live. Just like, oh, thank you for saying that right off the top.
Oh yes, of course. We got to get the people familiar, you know?
Not lived.
Yeah. No. Just live.
Is it an accent?
Not a Christian rapper. It's not a cross.
It's not a cross.
Yeah.
Oh, is that some, like, before we start, that's some speculation? Like,
I've been asking my artist from the. I mean, I believe in God and the universe.
right.
My goal is not to do Christian music.
Oh, for sure.
It was when they
But
said-
I mean, if you hear sweat, like, you know, in the,
it
you
might
know,
take you to.
during the service, like, we might be moving and grooving. So, thank you so much, first and foremost, for joining us here today. We truly appreciate, you know, the reach out, the constant, you know, follow up. It's honestly an honor to get someone like you who's been involved with the industry and, you know, the creative flow out here in Washington. So just thank you first and foremost.
Thank y'all for real.
No, I was really excited when you reached out, and I'm really happy to have someone that has been doing music doing music in the scene for a very long time reach out to us, because sometimes I take our position for granted. And you have, to me, success here and stature. So anyone who reaches out, and it's not always on us to like seek people out and people seek us out. It always is like a sign that we're moving in the right direction.
Absolutely.
So that's why I really appreciate you coming on today. And we're able to give you your flowers and really talk about various things. But I always like to start here. How are you today?
I'm good today.
Yeah?
I'm good. You know, it's always a lot going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like really lucky and blessed that I get to do all this cool stuff. So it's just always like, you know, we're just always go. But I like this kind of stuff just because I like to sit and talk. I like to meet people.
Yeah.
I always tell people, it's like, when I fuck with you, or if I like what you do, I have no problem being like, yeah, I want to tell you, I want to talk to you, I want to meet you. I don't know, some artists are a little more prideful than that, or like have egos. I think for me, if I fuck with you and I like what you do, I have no problem saying it, and I want to like work with you and talk to you. And if I don't,
I don't, yeah.
You won't ever hear from me. Like, it's just very simple. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm glad I'm here.
Absolutely. Thank you. I think that's a beautiful way to live. Just surrounding yourself with things that you appreciate and love. I feel like a lot of people, especially nowadays, are very obsessed on like fueling what doesn't fuel them. Have you always been a person that have been able to like kind of pour back into yourself and like kind of exit out of the negativity of life in general?
Yes. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's like the themes of today. This is great. 100%. I tried, like I really tried to just be involved and surround myself with things and people that I like and appreciate. Sometimes you could be wrong. Sometimes it starts off that way and then it doesn't turn out the way you expect.
Yeah.
But I think that's always my intention. And if you have that be your intention, good things will follow. And for the most part, you'll be around the best people and have good experiences. And that's just kind of how I try to move and stay motivated. And yes, I've always been that way. I've always been like, if you're not for me, you just ain't for me.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine. I don't need to be for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, so.
No, that's beautiful. I feel like that's a hard thing for anyone to learn. Like, it took me a very long time to own it because I am not for everybody. It took me a long time to even, like, step into this space of just being accessible to people because I struggle with it constantly doing this. And Tavares knows, like, Tavares, I will always say, is our front runner. He is the face. I do the back end, but, like, the more I do this, the more being the taller person and just those things have always allowed me to, like, not get that kind of just, like, enjoyment or, like, escape of just being in the room. So I definitely have, like, gotten more into accepting of just, like, not accepting everyone into my space, but also being, like, cool to allow people in. So I guess that is what...
It's a balance. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a tricky. I just wish people were more, like, genuine with, like, what they wanted, even if it's, like, materialistic. I'm never mad at, like, it's a capitalistic world, so get your bag, but, like, just let me know. Don't fake my friendship just because it's like I need this. Just you might get it faster if you need it.
I like money when we need it.
Yeah,
It's a resource. Like, let's just be honest. Yeah, I agree.
So I kind of want to take it back for the viewers to give kind of your base in music and where you, like, fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Where does that start for you?
Oh God, I would say really around, like, between, like, the ages of, like, 5 and 7.
Yeah.
Between my parents and then my sister, those are, like, the people who were showing me music, instilling music. Like my dad, for example, used to have these big ass, like, really tall, like, speakers, this huge, like, stereo setup, and play vinyls and have that shit blasting throughout the house. This is when he would be, you know, doing bills, doing stuff with his business. He has his own moving business, so this is how he would kind of work and, like, talk about, you know, different singers that were singing and tell me this is how you sing kind of thing. And then my sister just being, like, really, you know, because she's 10 years older than me, grew up in the 90s, so 90s R&B, hip hop, always playing that stuff, but also just played anything from that era.
Yeah.
So I was just, like, really exposed to just music and just, like, how it made people feel. I was obsessed with Michael Jackson, you know, that during that time he was, like, the king of everything. And I remember, like, the first time I, like, sang in public.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this the other day with her. I had the lead in my school, kindergarten school, played Little Red Hen.
Oh, nice.
That was, like, my debut.
Oh, yeah.
Of ever singing. And I just remember I was like, ooh, I like this. I like this, like, performing, being on stage, just entertaining people. Like, it's fun. Like, creating stuff is just really fun. I think ever since I was a kid, I just liked creativity and sports. That's just, like, I was like, I'm just going to follow that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's going to be fun. And it led to a whole bunch of shit, but, like, primarily, I would say, 5 and 7, my sister, my parents, and that was just, like, just that exposure.
Yeah.
Of, like, wow, people get to, like, people just make stuff, make songs and words. It sounds so great. I like this. As a kid, I'm just like, this is tight. I want to, like, keep, like, doing this. Except for, like, I remember my mom put me in piano lessons during that time. Yeah. That was actually difficult. I didn't like that. I definitely quit. And to this day, I'm like, I should have never.
You should have.
I should have never told her I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Because I would be like playing piano.
Yeah.
For real.
Singing.
That's a very dedicated instrument. You have to be, you know.
Yeah. I had to eventually pick some of it up later, but I should have just stayed. But my mom was also like, I ain't about to pay if you ain't about to pay.
If you don't like it, we can stop this bill right now.
This is costly.
Yeah, extra piano lessons? Oh no.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've since being on stage and having the lead, do you think you've always loved that feeling of just performing on stage and just seeing out into a crowd, whether it's family or just like people who have never heard the music or love the music?
Yeah.
Has that stayed constant throughout your career?
I would say I had to kind of work up to it, like, as much as I loved it. And I still, to this day, I get, like, stage fright or get anxious. Just
oh my gosh, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I'm all the way up to, because I'm always just like, I just want to do it. Like, I get on stage and I want to do it. And so I've always like been nervous in that sense, but it took probably through college is when I really had to kind of like hone in. So I went to school for music, so I had to do a lot of performing in college, and I really had to kind of like learn just that is a skill in and of itself. Like, you love it and you enjoy it, but I have to treat it also like it's a practice and a thing I have to get good at. And once I perform more and like still getting nervous, but once you get up there, and I think my favorite thing to see is when people react to the music, especially if they've never heard it. Yeah. And I like to sing like right at people. I like to look at them if they know the words, if they're bobbing. And it's like seeing that, and it's like, wow, this has a real effect on people. Yeah. And that is kind of the part that I think makes it the most enjoyable thing. Like, wow, these people are like really bobbing their head. They're looking at me. Yeah. They're not looking anywhere else. They're not on their phones. They're not at the bar. Like, they're just like looking at me on stage. I think once you start to see that and see more of that, you're like, I want to do this. Yeah. I want to keep doing this again and again and again. Bigger crowds. So I'm like, I want to do like a huge like arena show to even see like what that would like feel like. Yeah. Where it's like all of the attention's on you, and they're like taking in some stuff that you made. Yeah. It came like from your head. That's like, it's a crazy concept, but it's fucking dope, and I love it.
No, oh my goodness. Amazing. I'm gonna let our first formal hand clap ring off, just because you explain that so eloquently, because it's something that I face personally as well. I am just like you to this day. The preparation that goes into like performing your craft or expressing your art in its like rawest form, to be taken out into the world and accepted by the ones in front of you. It's like so unreal. It's like the drive behind like a lot of what I do, and like getting to that moment, because I always describe it, and I've told Corey this before, but like I can be the most anxious like building up to the time I'm on stage, but on stage it's so uncanny because everything just goes away. And it's you, the stage, and the people in front of us, and like that feeling, it's giving me jitters right now, but like that is the essence of the artist, or what we live in, like what people I feel like these days especially forget about the power behind music. Yes,
performing the music, like
performing is such a different art too, outside of like you can make your music, but performing and letting it resonate with a whole nother like human being, that is a totally different kind of like intimate connection. It's like you are writing these down, these experiences that you experience, but we found a common ground with like the people around us, which is so powerful. And I'm glad that you shared that, because it brought it out of me. Like I always try to explain this occurrence that like I have when I'm performing, because there's so much tension that builds up to that moment. But when you're like on there, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. Like that was me. Like that was what I was meant to do. Like it's so unreal. So thank you for sharing that with us. I wanted to ask you. We're moving around topics. What does it mean to you to be neo soul? I see that's I do notice that is the category that you release on platforms. So
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, because they make us check a box.
True, very true. So is that something that you hold to yourself, or
I would say
how would you describe your sound?
I mean, hip hop and soul in general. I would say absolutely. If they ask me what genre, I'll say those genres. I think yes, mostly because I grew up on that, and that's like where all my biggest influences are. Right. That's where a lot of artists when I was growing up, that's where those genres they played. And so to me, it's like to even be able to say that I get to do that work, it's an honor, but it also is like I have a responsibility to the genre and to my skill set. I think I get like caught up in that a lot too, where it's like if I'm gonna sing, I gotta sing well. I gotta sing really well. If I'm gonna rap, I need to rap really well. Yeah. Just because I respect the genre. I respect the craft.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I love that I get to perform within that genre. I love that my biggest influences come from those genres. I mean, I think about what Lauryn Hill is one of my like artists I really look up to and have loved, grew up with. Alicia Keys is someone that I really like. I was just thinking about that the other day. But yeah, it means a lot.
Yeah.
It's just I want to, and it means I want to do what I do really well.
Yeah.
To honor that.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I see that you have a song called "Sweat" blowing up, and I saw you post. You think it'll be your first billion? I believe.
Yes, million, but yes, I'm
yeah.
trying.
How has it felt just seeing it naturally spread like wildfire and just like getting that feedback from the people?
It feels great because I knew it was going to do well.
Yeah.
It feels good when I'm right, and I'm right a lot. I'm being honest. Even if other people don't think that I'm right. But it feels very, very good just because objectively, it's a good song.
Yeah.
It's
Whether
great.
It's my song or not, like, it's a good song.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I want it to do well because it's fun. I want it to do well because it fucking makes me feel good. It makes other people feel good.
Yeah.
It's like
That's a
party
morning cup of coffee kind of song.
Hell yes.
You know, I wake up to that song. To be frank, like,
Wait, what?
like when it plays, or I wake up, I play it, and it gets me ready for the day. Like
Yes, it's
that's
like
how much I love the track.
Dang, that should start to get you moving. It's so it just feels good.
Yeah.
And I knew it, and I like it. It took so much to get that song done, and I knew, but I wanted to get it done because I knew it was good. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's a process to finish songs, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like really pushing to get it done because I was like, no, this song has to be on the project. This song is good. It's too good to like not be.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that it did because I feel like it was a great song. I feel like every time someone hears it, that response to the music where they're like, oh shit, they really fuck with this. They love it.
Yeah.
It means it just feels good.
Your visual too. Just it has that vibe, you know, that you want to have a good time. You know, you're enjoying your time with your friends and family. I assume like that was your people in the visual, and just to see you guys have fun, dance to your track. I seen everybody knew the words and having a good time. And
it was literally the videographer Abdul, shout out to him. Like, I told him I was like I don't know, man. I just feel like the song is backyard barbecue disco. I don't know. Let's just whatever that looks like. Like let's figure that out and make it. I was like, make it colorful. And we shot that or came up with that in like, let's see, it was like Wednesday.
Yeah.
No, Tuesday, and we were like, can we get everybody somewhere on Friday and just like let's just do something with it? And we did. Like it was kind of just a hive mind of let's just make this work.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it had all the elements of things that I love. I like barbecue, being outside. I like drinking. I love hookah. And I was like, we're going to have everything in it.
Yeah.
And it was great.
It was a classic.
Thank you.
No, I love when Washington can like be represented in that way, because we don't. That's one of the things, like as a kid, I love the culture of like our parties. Like I feel like it's not enough people talk about how amazing our house party culture is here. When you can get Washingtonians on the same page, a house party,
very hard to.
But our house parties are elite. Or just like the one thing I noticed, like moving here and like throughout my years here, is like the hospitality. Let's just change how to say it. Here is amazing, and when people invite you into their home, especially for like a party sense, it's such a fun and beautiful time. Just because it's like it's so West Coast, but we're such a we don't get the sun as often as like everyone else on the West Coast, so it's just like it's got to be fun.
Yes,
like,
you know, make it work.
Exactly.
Now, even with this video, that we were just like, God, it probably
It
won't
might-
be sunny.
yeah.
We gotta still just show up, have a good time, drink, party. But that's the nature of living here.
Yeah.
It's summer and it might not. It just might be cloudy. So we're gonna be outside.
Might just be a good day.
We'll take what we can get for sure out here.
Yes.
It was so natural, and you could see it in the track and in the visual. I think it's a all around like really good representation of, you know, what you've been working towards too. And just being able to express like who you are through the song, like, you know, it's so personable. Like, it feels like we've been friends because, you know, you listen through your music and I get to know the sense of who you are. But, you know, this is our first meeting, so just being able to like do that and have that resonate on all different kind of levels with different kind of people, I think is amazing. Like, it's hard to execute things like that, but and you've been doing it.
Thank you. For real, thank you. That means a lot. I try to do that, so that means a lot.
I wanted to ask, do you have a certain process making an album? Or I noticed that like when you named it Pink and Orange, it fits, like the palette fits the music. Are you more of like going with like a set, like this is the process, this is how we make albums, or is it just like as far as like colors and just like things of that when you build out the album and making the music?
That's a good question. So I always tell myself I'm not gonna do a project. Because it's stressful.
Yeah.
And it's a long process, and I switch up so much stuff, and it's way more expensive. So I'm always like, and I'll start making music, and then I change my mind, like every artist does. And what usually happens, I usually already have like an idea in my brain. That's why usually I change my mind. Because like, even when I start making music, I start to see colors, I see visuals. It just happens naturally.
Yeah.
And so as I'm making music, I think it unconsciously starts to have the same vibe, just because it's wherever I'm at that time in my life. You know?
Yeah.
And with this specific project, I came off my other project, Flowers in the Void. That was a little like darker and during the pandemic, and I wanted to just make more fun music.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things, like when it's not raining, when it's not cloudy, I think we have really beautiful ass summers here, and I think we have beautiful ass sunsets. Like I don't care, like bomb. And it's like this like purple, pink, orange kind of palette.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I want to make music that feels like that. Yeah. I always tell people, I like to make music that when the sun is going down, I could put it on in my car and I just cruise. Like that's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
And with this, I was like, ooh, I want to make music that feels like that. And I always tell people, you could play this album during golden hour, during blue hour, when the sun's going down. Like that's the goal.
Yeah.
And so I kind of start with that. And then when it comes to like the branding and the colors, I'm really particular about marketing and all that. Like I actually am an artist who pays a lot of attention. I care about all the fonts. I care about who the photographer is. I usually am like the person who does the main designs, or I find a designer who fits what I want and tell them what I want. I even tell them what font typeface to use. I get really particular because I think it's all one project. It's all one big art project.
Yeah.
And it can't just be I make the music and then that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I got to make the music. I got to figure out what kind of people are going to want to listen to this. How do I get it to them?
Yeah.
What should it look like? What should I be wearing? What does my hair need to be looking like? Like, I really, like every single thing you see, I think about that the whole way through. And then right before I drop it, I have a lot of regrets, and I'm an artist that says, never mind, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And then I'm like, okay, pause. And then it's like, okay, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like I do all that, and then I panic, and then I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, but I really do think of every single thing, which is why I say I try not to do a project because it's stressful.
You're an artist, like you're an artist at heart.
Yes.
Like you have to see the whole painting and like make sure every stroke is correct.
And then I'm like, no, it's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all wrong.
Let's just destroy
like,
it.
scratch it all. It's like, well, the project's gonna come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, never mind.
Fuck. We put it on DistroKid. Fuck.
Exactly.
We submitted the artwork. We did everything. No, that is, man, thank you for sharing that with us. Groovers, if you're listening to that, I think those are all the steps you need to take if you take music or your passion serious. Those are what you need to do. Those are isms for you at home to realize that it takes more than what you see at face value. For being an artist, someone who's serious about their craft, you have to take care of everything you put out because that's what you're creating, and you only get back what you dish out. So I think that's why everything's been so fruitful for you. Like, you're so multifaceted, and like the fact that you put in that type of level of consideration is very important for the viewers at home. So, you know, if you're listening to us right now, you're tapping in with the interview. Do that, like point blank. Period. Do that. Before we do move on with the conversation, it is break time.
Oh yes.
So this break time, Groovy Tapes.
We'll be right
you know
back.
what it is. All right, Groovy Tapes, we're back from the break.
You didn't have a question coming back from the break.
No, because I interrupted the break for your question.
I was gonna say he definitely looked at you.
Oh,
like,
my bad.
No worries. It's okay. We'll keep that out.
No, we can keep it in. It's definitely on me. I wasn't looking at you, so I had no idea.
Ask everybody
It was
if
like
we're
this.
ready.
So talk.
We're back.
I wanted to ask you about being from Lakewood.
Yeah.
You are our second guest that is from Lakewood. You and Aramis.
I didn't know Aramis was on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly, stars are born in Lakewood.
Yes. Yes.
So what was it like growing up for you in Lakewood?
Oh man. First off, I fucking love where I came from. I love where I grew up. I love Lakewood. I think it was fun. It was nice living in a neighborhood. It was nice living close to hella people my age and just being able to just easily get around. Also, it was just nice because I was just thinking about this the other day. I think Lakewood was just fun because that's where like me and my best friends met, and like I have so many stories of just our lives, like so much of just everything that happened to us just growing up, good, bad, just everything. I always tell them, I'm like, I need to write like an actual show about our life, our adolescence in Lakewood, because I think it'd just be like fun.
Yeah.
And I just always enjoyed every moment. You know what I'm saying? It was I don't know. It made me who I am.
Yeah.
I'm never like, I don't know. There's artists who I think want to generalize where they're from or say they're from Seattle when they're not. And I'm like, I love living up here and working up here.
Yeah.
But I am 1,000% from Lakewood, Washington, and I have no problem saying that.
Yeah.
I love like going there on the weekends. My mother still lives there. She still lives in the same house that I grew up in as a kid. Me and all my siblings. So it's like that is like home, and yeah, I love everything about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like that's the one thing I really love about people really from like born in Washington and raised in like a specific part of Washington, just because it's like I don't know, it's almost like a small town feel without it being a small town feel of like love and just like, this is my corner of the state. Like you can have the rest of it. Yeah, I used to go over here, or like I spent time, or we went to camping, or like all these various things that you can do in Washington. But I always love when people are like, when they're actually born here, they never say like, I'm from Tacoma, but I'm from like east side of Tacoma, or things like that. It's always like, no, Puyallup, I'm from Lakewood. Yeah, it's not a bigger city, or like whenever we have someone from Federal Way, it's like, no, I'm from Federal Way. We don't like, I'm not from Auburn. I'm not from here. I'm from Federal Way.
Yeah.
this like small strip. So I love that.
I'm born there. Like,
Yeah.
where I grew up. That's me. Yeah.
So having that, like, I feel like having that sense of pride, I feel like always shines through with artists from here, just because it's a sense of, like, I guess like how Detroit is like Detroit versus everybody, but we don't I don't think we have a versus everybody here. Always, especially, but I feel like where you're from and where your roots are grown are just so important to, I would say Washingtonians, especially, because I feel like bigger cities, you can claim like certain parts of like the city, and it just makes it like simpler. Like people that just say I'm from LA, it's kind of more of a universal statement. But I feel like we have one of those cities that are really cool by saying you're from Lakewood, because it's a whole different aspect of Washington. You know, it's like, yeah, we deal with the same rain and like weather, but like our rules aren't necessarily the same. Like if you speed here, we know you're not from this part of the town. Which I always think is cool. Do you think having such a prideful ness to where you're from in the city shines through with your art and being an artist for you?
absolutely. So I hope it does. That's the goal. Yeah, I think I try to. I don't know. I think it's important to let people know who you are and where you're from, especially just if there's other kids from Lakewood who are like, dang, how do people like get out of Lakewood and go do A, B, C, and D? It's like, you absolutely can do that. And I think it's important to show that mostly for them. And also just for the people who helped me, like teachers. My mom has the same neighbors who I grew up with as a kid who have always been supportive and helped me. And I think it's important that they see that and they know, like, I don't forget where I come from or forget who helped me or forget that this is the same 7-Eleven that I went to as a kid and got the same Slurpee. Like, I take pride in that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think it helps the people in the town take pride of that, too. You know what I'm saying? It's like someone from where we're from, someone from our city is doing something and is not afraid to say that. So it makes them feel proud of Lakewood as well. Yeah. I think that that's important. I think that that's why anyone should want to say where they're from, unless they just don't like it. But it's not me. I love Lakewood. I love being from there. But yeah, I try to really make it shine through, and I try to be very vocal about where I'm from. Even if I'm talking to some interviewer in a whole other city and it's like, from Seattle, right? And I'm like, no, I make music and I work there, but that is not where I'm from. I'm from like 40 minutes south of there. Exactly. This little town that used to be Tacoma, because I also very much rep Tacoma because it used to be Tacoma, and also my sister lived off of 56th Street, so I was like bouncing between my mom's house and her house all through my adolescence. So it's like I've been all over that place, and that place is what made me.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I mean, give a good hand clap for you being unapologetically so Washington, and especially so Lakewood. It's a different crowd around here, you know, when we're comfortable from our home aspect, because I love Lakewood and the South Sound. I love that they're not, you know, they're a part of Washington that's untouched from, you know, a regular city status quo, you know. The fact that Lakewood still has the old architecture, you know, even the water tower, you know, that's still being out there and like being, you know, a significant point of reference for people to understand like where you come from. Because while we're all being like so proud to be Washington, there are different pockets in our state that experience different things. So we don't want that to go unheard, you know, like, and we want to uplift those because, like, how else are people going to learn, you know, how else are people going to, separate, you know, I'm not a Tacoman, you know, I'm from Lakewood, you know, I'm not, or, you know, I'm from Kent, you know, I'm not from Seattle, even though, you know, those are respective neighboring cities. It's awesome, you know, just to see it in front of me, because, you know, I try my best to be, you know, so Rainier Beach, you know, that's something that like I hold dear to my heart. So knowing that someone else is, you know, doing their due diligence to just keep it like, you know, you and but also giving ode to your environment is an awesome thing to do and to take heed to.
I wanted to ask about making a short film. It's in you shot it in Lakewood, right?
Absolutely,
called Streetlights. And what was it like working on that project? And I saw all the write-ups, and it's for me, it's always cool to like not be connected to something, but see a bunch of articles and just be like, oh, that's here. Like, oh, look at Seattle Times, like being in touch and like learning. Yeah. But what did that feel like, especially like putting out and just like getting the reception from it?
Oh God, it was it made me really happy. It was the first, so I love, in addition to music, I love like film, visuals. I've always been into that stuff. And so I got a grant and I was able to make this short film.
Amazing.
And I started writing it for the grant. And I always was like, okay, if I could shoot almost anything I make in Lakewood, I will make it a point to try to do that. Yeah. I think that would just be just fun to keep putting that place on the map. Same way Issa Rae was like, we're going to shoot in Inglewood and like touch on Inglewood, not just larger LA. But I remember I was like, yeah, I want to shoot it in Lakewood. I was like, because I know so many people, it'll be cheaper. I was like, we use my mama's house and set up everything. And I know the city so well that we can make everything work.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to show like Lakewood on a summer day. I've loved like that's to me a city when it's sunny and it's a summer day. It's like it's bomb. It's like it's a small town. It's fun. Everybody's outside. Like I just love it. So when we got to film it. Also, we filmed it 2 days after I did Capitol Hill Block Party. So I'm coming off of already prepping for that. While trying to work on getting this short film produced and everything with even though we had money. Unless it's like a feature film, everything's DIY. Yeah. We got to think about, same thing with the music. I got to think about location. I got to think about what everybody's wearing. Or if I don't know all this, I got to hire all the right people. So it's like me and Abdul, once again, shout out to him trying to put this together. Yeah. But then also working with the DP who like made everything look great, which was Avery Johnson, shout out to him. Like we had to like prep all of this before we even get in the space. Yeah. But once we were there, it's one of those things that it's hard work, but it's so fun. Yeah. Like I don't even think I slept for the 2 days that week.
Wow. Yeah.
But it was so fun to get into the space, because it was like a small crew of like 20 people.
Oh, nice.
And so to have us like spend like 2 days straight of just like 12, 15 hours together trying to put this together and like having everybody be dedicated to the vision in my little like everybody at my mom's house in the garage that I grew up in, just like everybody, we're about to shoot this thing. And then like being able to show them around Lakewood and like tell them about like why certain parts are significant. Like we filmed over at somewhere called Active Park. And I was like, okay, so Active Park, we used to always go there in middle school as kids. Yeah. Then there was like a stint where like one of my best friends had like a group that they called the Active Park Usos. And so we go there to be with my homegirl in support of this group that she had there. And just like kind of telling them just the history of like my childhood and why this is significant. And it made them, I think, more passionate about the project. Yeah. And when everybody's on board and passionate about the project, like even though it's a hellish 2 days, it was fun. Yeah. It was but yeah, we also shot at like my best friend's house because her house is in Lakewood. So I was like calling everybody of like, I need favors. Even down to the corner store scene. So there's like the scene at the end where the lead has to go get the milk. That the whole point of the film was to go bring this milk to his mom. And I drove around the morning we filmed because we couldn't find an actual corner store. We were actually going to try to shoot up here in Seattle, find a corner store, but everything was unavailable. It kept going wrong. Dates couldn't work. And I was like, fuck, I got to find us a space. So I just drove around Lakewood like 7 a.m. in the morning. Finally found this like more kind of mom and pop, not a major like 7-Eleven or like Shell gas station corner store. And I just went in and I was like, look, this is the premise. I'm a student doing a student film. Yeah. Can we use your space? Yeah. And he was like, oh, yeah, sure. Someone just filmed a music video here the other day. And I was like, wait, for real? He's like, yeah, just let me know what time. Come by. Oh my God, Mart, I think was the name of it. And shout out to him. And he was like, just do your thing. And I was like, so we just showed him. He was like, yep. Came, let us shoot. It was like, do you want me to move anything for y'all? I was like, no. I was like, we got it. He's like, cool, do your thing. And he just let us shoot and left. And I was like, I wouldn't have been able to do that, I think, if I wasn't in like a small town and people. And I was comfortable enough to go around and ask and be like, hey, I need this. I'm shooting it in Lakewood. It's about Lakewood. And people just being like, yeah, sure. My friend's mom being like, y'all want to use the house? Come shoot at the house. Exactly. Like, okay, this works. You are saving us a lot of time and money. So I don't know. Even when we got to do Tacoma Discount World and like explaining to them what Tacoma Discount World is and what we get there, like how I've been shopping there since I was a kid. If you lived in Lakewood, you got your homecoming dress from Tacoma Discount World. Like this is serious. So I don't know. It was a really, really good time. If I could shoot more stuff in Lakewood, I'm gonna like do that. It's fun. It was fun.
No, that's amazing. Wow.
Did you before we move on, did you treat that process like you treat music, or was it completely new to you?
Treat it all. I mean, it was new. Just to market a film versus marketing a song is different. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing. I just had to like recalibrate my brain, but Everything. I edited the film too. So I was like,
wow.
I edited it. So I had to think about just the storyline structure. Then I had to send it to the person who was going to color it. I got my homeboy Lorenzo who did all the sound and stuff on it. Shout out to him. And then I had to, think about like titling, making like the short, the reels, how to promote it. I did I picked the music. So I had my music, and then I knew especially the corner store scene. I heard that song by J Wop. Shout out to him. Yeah. When I was like writing, I was like, this is the song. I have to like use this.
Yeah.
And did all the work to be like, okay, we're gonna treat this like licensing music and like hiring the people who are using their songs. Every single thing I thought about every frame, and then figuring out how do I get it to the right people.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is gonna people who are from Lakewood or people who are from here and understand like the feel and the essence of that film. I gotta find those people.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, as much as I appreciate the money from Eddie Bauer, shout out to them. Their audience wasn't the audience that was gonna feel this film the same way.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I got to re-release it myself.
Yeah.
And put it on my platforms and get it to the right people, and I think it worked way better in that way.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. And just the colors, and I'm a very big color person. So just like how it was colored, like the shots you chose to like stay in, like I'm very like to know that you not only were hands-on in the creation of it, but you were on the back end editing. Because I hate editing.
Oh, I hate it too. I hate
it. It's one of those like you get to like your vision gets to fully come through in the editing process, but also it's like, all right, no, is that in sync? Oh, their fucking mouths are moving wrong. That anxiety of it always like is a love-hate thing for me. But
this was like the first time, just on that same subject. This was like the first time I had to really learn about. Because I like editing a music video is different and I could export it a certain way, but editing a film and then I got to export the audio a certain way and send it to a whole other person. Then I got to send this version to like the colorist and then I got to bring it all back and then I got to redo it on my computer. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And I had all the like, because I had all the stills of like inspiration for shots that I wanted. So I'm like looking at the coloring and making sure it matches like the style. It's a whole other beast. Again, it's like, it's so fun, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I got to figure out what I'm going to do in my next short film. That's a whole other.
That's a whole other monster. That's amazing. Like that to me is so cool just because I'm like creating, not only did you like create the soundtrack, which I think is amazing. And one of the most difficult things to do for long format things is just like, how are you going to interpretate this with the music and what you're watching? So like that's another level of genius. But just like the full creation of like for me, you like Issa Rae Spike Lee'd it in your like in Home, just because it's like you wrote it, you got the money, so which is like so it's not that's the hard part of, like you wrote it and the writing got the money, and then you just like put all the time in to like really produce it and just like bring it to life. And I know like we worked on music videos together, but like I know 2 days of 15-hour shoots and just like that time and effort and just getting people to spend their time and really like caring about it is an amazing feat. So you can tell in the work, you can tell by the reception. It was beautiful to watch, and just like to hear you explain it to me, like I'm nerding out just because I'm just like, that is so fucking cool to me, just to like to really produce and really like have your own vision of something and really bring it to life and not take any shortcuts on it. Cause like a lot of people take shortcuts even on things that they really love. So like to hear you explain it and like feel it when I watched it is like, that's beautiful to me, just to know like it was as much passion as it looked like went into it, actually went into it. It wasn't like, it's hard to fake, but it's very easy to see, you know?
Thank you. I do want to give a special, just because I never wanted to be lost on me, that like I really think I got lucky with the two leads, Trey Scott specifically, and then Shelby Poole from here. Because I had auditioned people, and like there's a whole process with that. That was new for me, like auditioning people. And Trey, actually, I met him doing cut videos, and he had said he was an actor, and I had a feeling. I was like, I liked his essence, and I went to go see him. I was like, let me just go see him act.
Yeah.
Not in a cut video or anything where, we're kind of being messy.
Yeah.
Let's just go like see him do his work. And I went to go see him at 12th Ave Arts. Also the same day I like fell and cracked my elbow 2 weeks before having to shoot all this. And I was like, and I remember I was with my partner and I was like, I need to, even though I'm in pain, I need to stay because I need to see what he looks like. Because I need to like see this through. We'll leave at intermission. And he was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
He was so good. And so to like book him, and then Shelby was like signed up to audition. She's like, I haven't tried anything like this before, but I want to try it.
Yeah.
She read great. And I was like, you just have the essence of the person I'm looking for. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And like I got them both on a Zoom call to do like a chemistry read.
Yeah.
And like just natural chemistry, just the way they talked. And Shelby was just so good about being like, I'm new. I know you act like have been acting longer than me. Give me pointers, and wasn't afraid to like give him pointers.
Yeah.
It was just like I was like, oh, this is great. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
And he's like he's at Yale currently doing acting.
Oh, nice!
Drama School, which is like a big deal.
Yeah.
A lot of people have come from that program. But I just wanted to make like they did a fantastic job. The whole crew, just amazing people, did a fantastic job. But I was really glad that I was able to get them just because they're talented, like really talented and like new talent. And I wanted more people to like see them, see like these are two Black people doing great stuff. I like to work with my people. I like to work with people of color.
Yeah.
And they just did a phenomenal job. I just wanted to give a special. I don't think I've like given them enough flowers and just being able to like really push that through for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
We're gonna give them a Groovy Tapes hand clap too.
Yeah.
Shout out the crew, man.
Oh. It's really the slow turn because he knows I have a. So like that happens because before we were very like before we knew how to interview, there would be points where like I had a question, but I wanted him to like engage, so I would do that to him. It was like, all right, now you talk.
I got you.
So we have a habit of now like. If one of us doesn't have may have a question, but like, all right, let me just see if you're trying to take it somewhere. He'll do that to me. Just so if you guys ever wonder why we stop and like look at each other,
like,
because it's like
groovy cues.
Groovy cue.
You touched on a little bit about working for Cut. I binged a bunch of Cut videos. I've actually been binging. Very recently.
Yes,
you guys have
binging.
You guys have hit my YouTube rotation. I have several questions.
Mm-hmm. I'll answer as much as I can.
Absolutely. But what is Truth or Drink like in real time? Because I know like obviously it's like edited, but it's like what is it like when people drink that much? Because I know people don't really get like you don't sit there as often to get like that drunk and to be that honest.
Yeah.
But like are people like I don't want to say get belligerent because like what would the point? But like is it as calm as it seems on camera like during the Truth or Drinks?
Honestly, yes. It's what's interesting, and I like for the most part when people sit down because I've been like asking people questions or getting people to talk like my whole life. That's why this job works so well for me.
Yeah.
For the most part, when people sit down and they read questions, if they just have the opportunity to talk, they will. Mm-hmm. Like most of the time, they're not like taking 10 shots. Sometimes we're like editing it because we can't just have like, because we're there for like 2 hours. So we can't just have a 2-hour video. But for the most part, people just answer the questions.
Yeah.
And really just want to talk. Like, especially if it's like a pairing where it's like exes or, a parent and kid drinking for the first time. And talk. Like they just need the vessel to be able to have a conversation. And for the most part, they don't even like drink that much.
Yeah.
And we also are really clear when we start just to be like, hey, if we feel like you're drinking too quick, we'll either say don't do it, or you could do like half shot, or like do something else, drink water. But it's not. For the most part, people just want to talk.
Yeah.
And they just get the opportunity to talk and have the right questions that's like, oh, a lot of people are always like, I would never think to ask that. I would never think. And I was like, well, I'm glad we could help.
We do our job well.
Yeah. But they just want to talk.
Oh,
they love being able to have a platform and just having an opportunity.
No, I could definitely feel that. Definitely like watching like some of it always seemed like a genuine like holy fuck. Like I would have never put myself in this position to be asked this, or just like our brains don't naturally think like that. So I always think it's really cool. Like and the producing on it, I think is amazing, just because I'm like the level of like, okay, these questions will incite something in this pairing based off the information that we've gathered, which I know is like fucking difficult, and like after like years of doing it probably gets easier, but like to naturally pair, like, okay, like, no, let's not leave that one. These will take them to where this will be like good content, and we'll all get something out of it.
Also, in like my videos when I'm directing, I'm really specific about the order of questions.
Ooh.
So I will lay all the questions out on the desk, and I'll be like, okay, what's my starting question? And then how do I want this to flow? And so I always have a very specific, especially depending upon the pair. I'll even change it if it's a different pair, or I'll add a card if it's a certain pair. But I'm really specific about, there's a certain order that we have to ask these questions, that we have to like get this conversation going, because you can't just come in hot. Sometimes too hot. You know what I'm saying? At least not like in the live version. We can edit it however, but when we're getting these two people, especially if it's like exes, we kind of gotta. There's a pace that I want for this to go, so that we can get to a point where you're having honest conversation, right? And not like, oh, they're gonna fight. Exactly. Like, I've never had that happen. I'm like so glad that I've never had anyone fight or anyone really like. I've had people argue, and I'm usually good enough to where I can like mediate. But that is like, I've not had anyone fight. I'm always trying to make sure that that's not the case. Like,
ramp them up to just slowly bring them down. How has, at working there, how has the button been received for you guys? Because I get to watch it, and I'm like, the button is the messiest thing ever, just because it's like,
I think it's more I don't think the point is for it to.
No, I don't think the point either. But I think the free will of people deciding like other people's fate comes so much into the button of just like, no, like I guess the one you guys dropped this week where the guy, I think his name was Austin. When Austin made it like his mission to press the button faster than anyone else, and it's like
the guy, he had the like red hat.
So
like classic reject me before I reject you. Thing versus just talk. Talking to someone, make a conscious decision. I think no one wants to, like, because all those videos, you get people reacting to it. You get people who take small clips of it and then repost it. So no one wants to be the person reposting it that gets clowned or something like that. So I think like everybody is trying to prevent something when they're pushing it, and it's mostly just like, I don't want to be the butt of a joke. I don't want you to like reject me, and then I'm the butt of a joke, and I gotta walk back and like tell everyone I got rejected. And really, it's just like, it's just meant to, you sit and have a conversation, and if you don't are enjoying the conversation, like, press the button. I don't even think the real premise is supposed to be a race.
No,
I think people do that themselves.
It's a cop out.
I think they decide, and it's like, it's funny. I actually haven't directed an episode of that yet, and I want to.
Oh, that would be really cool.
I really, really want to. Eventually, I will.
No, because I love your guys' perspectives on like even adding the dancing, and now like kind of I like the more element of free will that Cut provides, just because it's like there's a narrative that is in place, but it seems very like, I don't know if it is, you don't have to reveal the wizard behind the curtain, but it seems like very like very unforced and very like natural to just allowing the freedom of people to just do things that they would never do. Like even when the confession booth, I thought those were one of those like amazing videos of just like, let's see how people react to this, and we're not gonna like intrude in it. It's more of like an experiment, but it's like, I guess it's not less sciencey. It's just more of like a social experiment that I feel like you guys play through each video. Like, yes, some are very for like, this is more comedic or this will be more heartfelt, but I love like that you guys have like taken a game, and I feel like, and if you like expand it out, it's a really cool social experiment that you guys allow people to like weigh in on, and just give that like perspective of like what ifs that we all don't have to take, but we can watch like other people take leaps into.
I like really the way you put that. Also, that video, I love that video. Shout out to Blaine. He was the director. Who's one of the founders of Cut. I agree. I think that's like usually our mission, like, is to
Liv, before you do expand on that thought. Can we do a camera check?
Absolutely. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. I just we need all the footage.
Oh, we're good. No, I think like the goal is like social experiments and putting people in spaces where they have to have difficult conversations, and the opportunity to sometimes have these difficult conversations. Also, just to challenge things within themselves. Like one of my favorite videos I directed. That was still recently going viral was Guess Who Has a Black Partner?
Oh, yeah.
And it literally, the premise is just, I had a belief that when you were around certain types of people, specifically like even Black people, you tend to take on elements of culture.
Yeah.
And you're going to know and like be privy to certain things because of your proximity. Yeah. That was the whole premise. And so I was like, I want to explore what that would look like if I had people look at people and just be like, your partner's Black. And like, just the concept alone sounds crazy, but there was so much that people saw from the episode of like, people assume things about your hair. People assume because you know hip hop, like you might, and it's like, yes, we make these assumptions because some of them might be true, and also because we have our own bias and assumptions that we make. Yeah, and it's like that was the only premise, and there were so many ways that people assumed this episode was supposed to what it was supposed to be and what it meant, and I was like, it's really simple. I think if you're around Black people, there's some things you take on. Yeah. That's it.
And what's true by the video. Like, if you watch it, it's like, I was like, I was pretty close to like Coach numbers. I think he got like maybe missed one. I think I missed.
Oh, yeah.
I thought.
You watched the Guess Who Has a White Partner.
Oh, yes.
Also part 2 of that. That was part 2 of that. But yes.
But I love just that added conversation and just like your guys' ability to just challenge people's thinking. And I always love the cop out that people do right before they like whatever they say right before they're like, no, I think you don't. You date a white person. Like I love like the girl who ended up opening it. She was like, I don't really feel comfortable answering, but like as it goes on, she's just like, no, no, yes, and I was just like, I love the preference of like, oh, I don't like to judge people, but like in real, like we all judge people, and it's okay to like own where you are biased, because it's like you're only wrong if you're not willing to accept the information. Like if she was like, oh, fuck you guys, like I think you're like wrong, I would see it as like, oh, it's probably problematic. But if you're just like, this is what I think based off the limited information, like I think a lot of people are scared to be like, oh, this is the only reference I had, so this is what I gave, and it gets misconstrued. But I'm not saying that. Some of you are racist. Not in this cut situation. We're not talking about this. This is just about people. Some of you are actually racist.
For those other groovers.
I made it a point to know, like, I'm obviously not going to put those kind of people on camera. And also, I'm never going to create a video where we're going to all of a sudden really start going to some weird shit and talking like crazy, where it's like, I wasn't gonna let someone come on there and start insulting like white people in a crazy ass way. Yeah, it was literally like something as simple as, I don't know, you want a cat? I think that's something white people would do. Exactly. It's like, that's not bad. That's not bad. It's like that's what you're thinking. You might be right.
A lot of white people have cats.
I think you have nice tennis shoes. I don't like. White people don't always care about their kicks. Not your general white people. Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make a guess. So it's like, I think there's a way to have those kind of conversations, and it's fun and funny. I think that's like where when I think about comedy and how you use comedy, I think that's where how that's supposed to be used. Like, it's fun, true. It's funny. It doesn't always have to be some super academic, serious conversation. Yeah. And I think that's why I'm glad Cut gives me like the avenue to be able to have those conversations in a fun, different way versus having a round table about white supremacy. And also, like we can do that, but this is also fun.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to leave work sad. Yeah. I have a non-music question. Okay. What is your favorite conspiracy that you subscribe to?
Conspiracy. How can I say this right? I do believe that there's certain. I believe in like secret societies, and that they really have taken part in certain things in history and run certain things. And run money and all that kind of stuff. I definitely believe in those things. I don't even know if that's a conspiracy theory versus, it probably is true.
No, it's probably true. No, I agree. They make us believe it's a conspiracy theory because they could just like throw a little salt on it. No, I'm like there are too many families in like the world that have been rich since like railroads and like shit like that. I'm just like, eventually you stop fucking with regular people and just start doing secret shit with your friend. Yes. I feel like if it's like we all had trillions of dollars, we would all be in a version of a secret society. Yes. Just because it's like, this is my circle. We don't really like snow over here. So we're like, if I had the money to change the weather, I'd figure it out. Cause you know, I would spend my time doing that.
I think the movie that, and I'm not saying I believe in like Illuminati. Let me just be clear for someone might misquote and say, but like there's the movie from back in the day called The Skulls. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It was like
I've never seen The Skulls.
Oh my god, my guy from.
Oh my gosh, that's an old one. That's like late '90s, I think.
Yeah, for like Paul Walker was in it. But it's like about this like kind of poor kid who starts going to this school, and because he's like a talented rower, they want him in the secret society, and then he joins. But then he's like, wait, they're doing some like shady shit. They like control the school, they control the town, and I was like, oh, that's absolutely exists.
It's really possible.
It's like white men got together and was like, I think we should do our own thing and kind of run this, have the money here, and it's like, sure, totally and we're not gonna let certain people
exactly.
Absolutely.
No, I 100% believe that. I mean, there's too like I feel like it's kind of like the way the government makes rules. Like there's always a hurdle to jump through because someone thought of it first. So I always think of the flip side of like if getting on welfare is the most like the hardest thing to do when it comes to like proving that you need assistance, I'm sure there's a version of that where people are just like someone controls that and it's just like, yeah, if I don't want that to happen, it doesn't happen. Like I don't want to jump to that hurdle. Yeah, exactly. Make sure that I don't have to do that. Exactly. Like it's good. No, I always think that there's a guy, like if you have a guy that could get you into like a club, there are levels to that.
There's different versions of that. Where it's like, if you get me on the list, there's bigger versions of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't want to have to do that. Can you make this go away?
Exactly.
On it. 1,000%.
What about you, T? Is there a conspiracy that you subscribe to that you'll stand on?
Oh, I'm a firm believer of cryptids.
Okay.
Cryptids are just like local American legends, like, you know, skinwalkers, the chupacabra, you know, Bigfoot, you know, those things, the Loch Ness Monster. I think it's not as fantastical as like a lot of people think, because there's like generations of stories of people referring to these like outer, like these bigger beings, you know, these beings that we can't fathom, that we put like a certain image to it. You know, you described the Loch Ness Monster as this like sea monster, like I'm pretty sure someone's seen a sea monster back in the day and was like, what the fuck is that? And it just became this story that was timeless. Like, so I'm into that. I definitely believe the natives when they're talking about, you know, skinwalkers or, you know, the Wendigos. The Wendigos, those are vicious. Don't ever go into like Washington State Parks, national parks.
Wendigo.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's this like 7 foot, like the way they visually capture it's like a 7 foot like moose head, like humanoid animal. And it's like this spirit, like they walk between the plane of like the spirit plane and like physical plane. Like I'm into that shit. Like
cryptoids.
Cryptids. Yep.
Cryptoids. I just made up something.
No. But I also scare myself. Like I'm easily scared. So like that shit freaks me out, and that's why I be inside. Yeah, I do look it up, and I'm like, this is shit I want to avoid when I'm out, like, you know, lost.
So you learn how they move, so you don't have to move with them.
Now I'm gonna look that stuff up. Wait, one more time. Cryptids.
Yeah, cryptids.
Are you looking up Wendigo there?
How you feeling, brother?
Oh, I just want to share mine before we get out. Before we get out of here, it's definitely the moon landing for me. The first one. The first one.
Wait, you don't believe it?
I think the first one is fake.
It's cap.
I don't believe all of them. I believe we went, because I'm not a we've never been to the moon people. Like I think the first one, we were down bad. We were way too behind Russia to just like.
We just need to lie.
Yeah, we needed to lie, and we're really good at lying. Yeah. So I was like,
that's fair.
So I was like, especially in the 60s, like we all kind of fucked up. There was a lot of shit
that was
going
a bad time for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, if they were like
all across the board,
we need a moon landing during that time.
You know, we need a moon landing tomorrow. Is like
we need a win.
Exactly,
everybody.
we need a win.
Yeah.
America needs
There's a
something
war.
to believe in.
We're racist as fuck.
Yes.
But we have like half our army is all black and brown people.
We need something.
We're
not gonna actually fix what we need.
No.
And the white people at home are angry. Yeah.
Let's send someone.
Oh yeah, we landed on the moon.
You know how crazy it is to me, like actually having this conversation with you guys with all we just pointed out, and they were like, you know what? We sent a motherfucker to the moon like tomorrow. Like this is what the government at the time was like locked in on. Like fuck Russia, let's go to the moon. This is pointless. It's literally on both sides.
We'll fix racism, healthcare, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
down the line.
We'll fix everything.
Down the fucking line.
More important.
Space.
Funding needs to go right here.
Exactly. NASA. Have you heard of them? They're doing shit.
Wow.
Like that's a crazy like to be the president. You're like. We're getting a lot of hate, a lot of backlash from all of these groups.
You know what'll get them? You know what'll get them, Chief?
You know what Russia's doing? No,
Chief
not even that. You know what Russia's doing? They're going to space. Let's do that shit.
Everybody's going to forget about it.
Exactly. What
we gotta unite the country.
Racist.
That's what we gotta do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I heard Buzz Aldrin. They caught up. First of all, they caught up. That's why I believe you. They caught up Buzz Aldrin. The Christians pulled up on him.
The Christians.
They had a Bible. They were like, "Hey, Buzz Aldrin, swear on the Bible that you went on the moon." And he was like, "I'm not finna swear on the Bible." Yeah.
Like, no,
so if the Christians get you, you know, like
if they're on your ass,
the video, or I mean the evidence. That's what I meant. The evidence.
It's shaky.
Yeah, it's shaky. We don't know.
The Christians, hey, we need the. God told us we need the answers.
Yes.
You did something out of this world, and we need the answers. But we're coming to an end to our conversation because we don't want to hold you up all day. So before we do let you go, do you have anything you want to relay to your friends, family,
yes,
close ones on the other side of the camera?
A lot of good stuff coming up. Mini tour, big announcement March 1st and March 7th. There's a lot of stuff going on. I am gonna just continue the consistency, continue with dope ass visuals. I believe in you just got to keep getting bigger and better. So just be on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Summertime is mine, always.
Last hand clap. KWJT, you've been grooving with the South, man. We got Liv, we got Corey, and Tavares.
I guess.